TYT Sports on a Monday. Rick Strom and Jayar Jackson. Hello, Jayar.
What's up? This is a first time back thing, kid.
I know. How's it feel?
They've cleared the studios enough to allow this to happen because it happened more back in the day, and now we've filled it with all these new rookies.
Right. Zach was one of them. Intern Zach was one of them.
Did you see it?
You guys put out some really good shit. No. I'm only busting balls. You guys put out some good stuff.
Zach was surprisingly, he rolled right in. It was good.
And then he rolled right out.
He did.
Back to college.
Yeah.
Zach, we love you. Thank you for your service. So let's try not to fuck this up. So Carmelo Anthony was traded from the New York Knicks to the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a deal that took place over the weekend. He's just being introduced today, but as we are shooting this right now, he hasn't met the media yet. At 33 years old, Carmelo tried to will his way to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They wanted Tristan Thompson, so it didn't happen. He tried to will his way to the Houston Rockets. It didn't happen because the Knicks wanted some sort of package of Eric Gordon, Indiana University. Trevor Ariza, should we even say like their university when they went there for like half a year?
Or also, since they've been out for so many years that nobody even remembers anymore. Like Carmelo went to Syracuse. Now, I'm sure many people remember that, of course, because he won the championship that one year, which further solidified the reason why he didn't even need to be there. You get there, you leave because he's an NBA player straight out of high school.
Completely, not out of Compton. So, good movie. So with that being said, Sam Presti somehow converted Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis into Paul George, Jr. And then on top of that, he turned Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, and the Bulls' coveted 2018 second-round pick for Carmelo Anthony. For a small market team and for a general manager whose hands are tied, he is taking advantage of what appears to be the one and done rule with his own team to try and put them in a position to not necessarily beat, but compete with the Warriors. So knowing their small market mentality, many other small market mentalities, getting these two players has been an incredible offseason considering they lost Kevin Durant just a few years ago.
Well, I mean, Kevin Durant, speaking of which, didn't, at least when he from his third party stance on Twitter, went after his former coach and former teammates. He didn't go after the GM, did he? That guy knows what he's doing.
He's got great hair, Sam Presti.
So when it comes to that aspect, I mean, he also took advantage, back to the GM himself, took advantage of the amount of attention his team has gotten from, again, that small market mentality, the fight with OKC, with Golden State, not actual fight, but the beef back and forth, the cupcake stuff, the fact that KD left. You take something like that leaving, and the fact you have your MVP coming and have an amazing season, which, by the way, I didn't get to say it in the season. There was no question he should have won that MVP.
Russell Westbrook.
Absolutely, that was a runaway in my mind.
There was a question.
99%. So that 1%
not in terms of triple doubles, obviously, because that was record breaking. But the numbers were comparable to what James Harden did as a point guard. The numbers were there. I still think Russell Westbrook should win, but I'm saying it was closer than people thought.
So he took all of that attention they were getting and parlayed into the trades and the moves he was able to do. And I think that's smart because you probably won't have that opportunity in many years.
But is Carmelo the guy that could really be like, oh shit, we're going this year?
So now this aspect of the conversation. This is hard because they said the same thing when he went to New York, right? What did he do in Denver?
When he was much younger with Denver, yes. We absolutely thought that New York was going to be so much better than they turned out to be. And we just looked this up. The 2011 to 2017 tenure of Carmelo Anthony, which literally felt like 20 years in New York.
Yeah, and if we ask Jay Rubin, who's not here right now, he'll tell you it felt like 20, being a Knicks fan.
He will.
But the thing is, so you wonder, again, he's 33, he's gone through a lot, he played on Olympic team, so he's worn a bit, right? But
you know what's never said about someone who competes for Team USA in the Olympics? Man, they go through a lot.
But it's like there's no offseason, you're still at least working, you know?
Of course.
So the automatic response is this. I'm looking at their roster now. Again, he's 33. The only other player in their 30s is Raymond Felton, who that player isn't going to get that kind of playing time. He's a backup, as he said. So the rest of these guys are in their 20s. One is 19, new kid. So
that's his name in the program.
No one knows who he is yet.
New kid.
The new kid. So, but the thing is, you would think, oh my God, big three, new big three, but Carmelo's a little older. So it's not gonna be as simple and easy as I think a lot of the assumptions will be. That, there's gonna be the next competing team for the Warriors. They have a chance to. It's hard to predict that because you don't know what kind of inspiration now Carmelo's got. You don't know what type of role they'll play in this system. And the question is whether or not they can share the ball. Of course they can share the ball. KD was there too.
Absolutely.
Come on.
What I think they have to do, and this plagued Carmelo so many times, is that scouts even said, and we all know this, defensively, he shows zero effort. Like you want, like, you remember from Chris Rock's stand-up where he'd be like, if you were falling from a cliff and all you needed was a fuck to give, George Bush wouldn't give you one. Like that's exactly how I feel about Carmelo Anthony's defense. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Even if he tries half the time, doesn't give a fuck.
I've seen him try when he has to defend LeBron. It's like a
right because like they're going to battle,
yeah, and it's like fun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're on the Sunday NBA game. I'm gonna go ahead and try and defend.
Right, or like a Christmas Day game. Oh, like I gotta put, I gotta try to put
the thing
it forward.
is, that's what's so disappointing. So people have the same worries about Harden, right? But Harden, I don't think can play that good a defense. Like he's just offensively minded.
Right.
Carmelo can play good defense. That's what's so disappointing about it. He's a big dude and he can move. So
he should be better, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He should be better defensively, but
so
he's
which
not.
means he can, I think, as long as the effort's there. And maybe that'll come out this year because
play some
like,
Nas in the locker room, and then maybe he'll.
Maybe he's sick of all this BS, man. He's ready to come in and do it.
Maybe, but here's my one thing. What they need to do is take the ball out of Carmelo Anthony's hands, tell him like, dude, you're not commanding this offense. You're not shooting 35 times a game.
Right.
It's still Russell's team. You have a great option in Paul George, who is not a phenomenal shooter, but a pretty good mid-range shooter. What they should do is drive and kick. Do not let Carmelo take the air out of the basketball and run isolation after isolation from the alleys and on the elbows, and a low block is okay depending on the matchup. But what they should do is have Russell Westbrook command the offense. He is one of, if not the best, Carmelo, catch and shoot three-point shooters in the game right now. And Paul George is going to be so good around screens. So what they need to do is allow Russell Westbrook to continue to get his, find Paul George and Carmelo Anthony in space. And if they want to run a few like Rip Hamilton-like plays for Paul George, cool with that. But what they should do is make Carmelo the second option, if not at times the third option, in order to just try and limit the weakness that he has offensively, which is taking the air out of the fucking basketball.
Take what the defense will give you, because you have those two options, as you said. So not necessarily everything that has to go to, say, Paul George, it has to go to Carmelo off of a kickout. Remember the complaints that Westbrook had last season? He's like, well, I mean, everyone else had those complaints and he kind of didn't dispute them. But he needs more options. So he's in there in the middle of the mix, driving, kicking, and he kicks to who?
Dougie McBuckets.
Oladipo.
Dougie McNuggets.
Oladipo, I'm sorry. Yeah, Dougie McNuggets, right? He said out there and he's not cashing them in. So I mean, now he has options. So like it's a matter of, again, the mindset has to be, I mean, with all these big three and big four things that have happened, when you had the Miami Heat, a guy that, he wasn't left open, but he seemingly was Ray Allen. Ray Allen was killing. He's the reason they won. They wouldn't have won without Ray Allen, obviously. But everyone thinks about the other big names on the team. No, he was the difference. So someone has to be left open because there's too many weapons on this entire team. So actually, you've talked me into agreeing with you that they have a really good chance if they do
Oklahoma
it right.
City.
If they do it right.
If they meet the Golden State Warriors. So here's how they would match up, because I just want to think about this. Excluding the benches, because I think it's unfair what Golden State is going to do when their bench comes in, because that's when they're really going to win games, or at least hold leads, which is what your bench is supposed to do. So the starting five for Oklahoma City is Russ, Paul George, Andre Robertson. I guess you put Carmelo at the 4 and then Steven Adams at the 5. How they match up is pretty freaking tricky. I guess Russ will guard Stephen Curry, right? Paul George will guard Klay Thompson. You got to put your best defender on Kevin Durant. That's Andre Robertson. Scobuffs. Carmelo Anthony will, I suppose, guard Draymond Green, which is a pretty good matchup considering his foot speed has worn a bit over the last few years. So it's not a bad matchup. He's just going to get out muscled in the paint.
In the paint, yes.
And then Steven Adams and Zaza negate each other, even though I like Steven Adams a little bit more. So on paper, from a starting five perspective, I've said this before, you gotta win with defense against Golden State. You can't outshoot them. Can they win defensively? Probably not, but it'll be highly entertaining, to say the least.